Hello and welcome to my channel, New Yarn, New Yarn. I haven't made a video for about a week, but I did try to film one about a week ago, and I cried through the whole darn thing. So I'm going to sit here right now and figure out what I'm going to say today. Will I tackle what I was talking about in the other video, or will I just keep it light? And that's the whole thing. I want to be real and genuine on this channel. And although I'm creating or trying to create a crochet channel, the reason that crochet has had such a big impact on me since I came back to it just before Christmas is because it has helped my mental health so much. And so it's tied in with that. You know, I can talk about the flowers I've crocheted and, you know, the poncho I crocheted and how happy that makes me feel, which is true. But, you know, it's not all butterflies and flowers. And the crocheting has made it more butterflies and flowers. So I just want to be, you know, truthful and genuine in conveying who I am. I have been diagnosed with PTSD. It's actually CPTSD, complex PTSD, because it's from more than one traumatic event. So when I tried to talk about this a week ago, I couldn't get through any of this without crying. So I'm doing better already. And what I said in that video, which I will say again today, and I guess I'm sort of speaking out of sequence of what might or might not make sense, but you know, I am speaking to a camera or to anyone who may put my video on from the safety of my own home. And, you know, I'm safe right now. I'm able to open up and talk to the camera. I don't go out really because of what's happened. And I have most things delivered, or I do like a grocery pickup where they bring stuff out to my car. I try to avoid social places now, and I didn't used to at all. So this is helping me, I think. And I put that in my description. And I used to go out. I used to, you know, there was a time I had a career as an actress in music theater. I traveled the world and I was in Broadway shows. So I had some anxiety there, but nothing compared to now. And there was sometimes, you know, the blues, depression, or sort of, you know, trying to figure life out and stuff like that. Just everyday life. Sometimes I would get depressed, but it's nothing compared to the PTSD. And, you know, I guess I have found a lot of people throw that term around loosely. Oh, I have PTSD from like Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. And I find that a bit tricky because I wouldn't wish this on anyone. And I know some people think, yeah, but you weren't at war. How can you have this? And I won't tell you what it's from or why I have this, but I will say that at the worst of it, just I guess before I got my diagnosis, when I just didn't understand why nothing was making sense and why I did not seem to be functioning properly, my nightmares were worse than my daytimes, and my daytimes were pretty darn bad. So the reason I'm just talking about that is because that is what I was trying to convey, who I am and what's led me to create this channel. I want to be as genuine as I can when I'm filming myself and when I'm talking about the crochet. And that's also something that, you know, as an actor, when you're on stage, I was a stage actress. I mean, you want to be real. You shouldn't be acting. You should be being. It's real. It's like when you're, you know, that's what makes an audience feel, is when it's authentic. So I want to apply that same principle to what I'm doing here, because what brought me here is, you know, how the crochet has sort of found me at the best time it could have, because I really needed it. And I may have mentioned in some other videos that I have been crocheting on and off my whole life. My mom's mom, my nanny, taught me when I was little how to do chains. And, you know, I don't know if I went any farther than making chains when I was little, but I do know when I was a teenager, I started crocheting Afghans to match the sheets on my bed. And so that was kind of fun. And I still have those Afghans. And I have one set of the sheets. Unfortunately, one set of the sheets seems to be gone, but it was really cool. That was back in the 80s. And they'd be fun to still have. I just bought patterns at the craft store. I think back in those days, there was no internet. So, you know, I wouldn't have even had a pattern book. It was just like single patterns that you'd buy for maybe $1.95 or $2.95. I don't know. I'm sure they were very inexpensive back then. And I don't have the Afghans with me right now, but they're here. They're just not in this room with me. So if I have a chance, I'll take a picture and put them on the screen. If not, I'll save them for another video. But I'm going to just jump ahead. So I did crochet through my life, but then over, you know, the last, there's been some very, very tough years and some really intensely bad things have happened. And the good news is that because I did that video last week where I cried, I'm okay today, which is good. I think I needed to record it that time to get through it. So just to jump ahead to this past year, my mom has been battling cancer, and it got to the point where she had to start chemo last summer. But crochet is tied into our experience at the hospital. The first time we went up to the chemo floor at the hospital that we were driving to last summer, if you can believe it, at the counter where you check in, there were all these beautiful crocheted and knit items for the chemo patients. There were hats, there were like kind of little shoulder shawls to keep arms, you know, to put around your shoulders and keep your arms warm. And there were Afghans. It depended on when you were there, but that first day, if you can imagine checking in for chemo, I mean, you know, it's a big deal. And to be greeted with these beautiful crochet and knit items, you know, that were the generosity of people that, you know, wanted to bring them in for the chemo patients, that was a touching and beautiful thing and so inspiring. And at this point, yeah, I hadn't started crocheting yet. I don't know if I'll be able to piece all of this together or not, but by the time I watched the Martha Stewart documentary that, you know, made me see the poncho that I wanted to crochet after not crocheting for quite a long time. My mom was dealing with cancer, and it had been a very scary fall. And when I say fall, I mean the season. It was a scary fall season with my mom's illness. And So the Martha Stewart documentary aired sort of right in the midst of really scary times with my mom's illness. And that is why it was a gift to me, the fact that this poncho presented itself to me, this beautiful project presented itself to me, and it came at the right time. So that's why I'm so passionate about that darn poncho, and emotional, because I just, how do you explain a gift that you weren't expecting at a time you needed it most? And that was crochet coming back into my life. So I'm sorry to get emotional again, but I'm emotional, and that's something I tried to say in the video last week, but I couldn't get through it. I have trouble filtering my emotions now. I have trouble filtering myself, actually. And I feel I used to be very filtered and very, let's just say in acting school, I think their challenge was to try to break me down. And now I can't really hold myself together without crying almost every day. And that's just my reality. The poncho makes me emotional because it brought crochet back into my life, and it helped me as my mom continued to go for chemo and fight this illness. Crochet came into the chemo room with us, and when I was crocheting, my mom would watch me. She said it helped. It helped to make her feel better just to watch me crochet as she was having the chemo treatment. And sometimes we were there for quite a few hours. So, also the crochet was something that other people in the chemo suite, sometimes it made people want to talk about what they were crocheting or how they wanted to try crocheting and learn how to crochet. And, I found out what other people were crocheting, and it was a lovely thing in the chemo suite that sort of was, I don't know, a nice thing for people to talk about as everyone's going through this experience with an illness. So that was nice. And I guess what I'll wrap up with, because my mom completed the chemo regimen that, she was given about a month and a half ago, approximately. And she started crocheting. And I don't think my mom has crocheted for decades. And when we were down at appointments, we would go to Michael's in one of the cities where some appointments were. And we got yarn, and my mom has started crocheting, and she's been crocheting every day. And I believe it's been really helping her as well. I get it. And I will attach some photos of what she's made. She's completed an Afghan already, and she mailed it out to her best friend from growing up. And she's been working on she's got another Afghan almost done out of a Bitty Stripes color. I'm going to have to take some pictures and post that. And she's got to piece those pieces together. And then she's working on a flower Afghan right now. So I just feel it's after a year, a very scary year health-wise, more than one scary year actually, but the crochet has been a gift to my mom as well. And I'm inspired to want to share that. It's so good for people. And it may not be everyone's cup of tea, and I understand that. But, I do think if there's anyone that wants to try to learn, there are really good videos on YouTube. If you don't know how, you could find anything you want to learn. And I myself only just learned about a magic circle before Christmas. I don't know where a magic circle has been my whole life because I really wish I'd known about it sooner. But I learned about a magic circle because of YouTube. So, you know, you can learn all about crocheting from YouTube. And I would say all you need is just start with one skein of yarn, or a few if you want to try to make a granny square, because that's really fun. And one hook. And I would say, please treat yourself to a clover hook. I have to do a whole video about those hooks. They've changed my crocheting game for sure, but I think everyone should treat themselves to a clover hook, whatever your favorite size is. My mom, we got her a size 6 clover hook, and I've been using a size 6 for all my bitty stripe stuff, and yeah, everything I've been making, I've only been using a clover size 6. So, but yeah, I recommend crocheting as something that is very good for, you know, I could say good for the soul, but that may sound silly, but it's been good for my soul. It's really, it's been an amazing thing to come back into my life and for my mom. And I guess what is nice about the crocheting is that I have started and completed projects. I have made afghans. I've made a poncho. I've made granny squares that are waiting to be made into an afghan, but that's going to happen. So it's amazing the sense of, you know, accomplishment, and that you're finishing something. You're making something and you're finishing something. And that is a really nice feeling as well. So I think I've gone on and on enough for today. I may create another channel just to talk about mental health and situations and stuff, because I do want to focus on crochet here. My favorite thing growing up was to laugh. I just love laughing. And I also love singing. But I just wanted to convey who I am, you know, that there's deep feelings underneath the crochet, like a deep appreciation for the crochet. And I just want to share that because I do think it could be so helpful to anyone. It's a nice obsession to have. And it's just, I can't explain how the act of crocheting, keeping my hands busy, I feel the anxiety flowing out through my hands into, and not in a bad way. Like I don't mean to imply I'm putting the anxiety into each blanket I'm making. Rather, it's just being released as I'm crocheting. And it's a calming thing, and I just want to share that and all the fun projects that my mom and I have been working on, and some of these fantastic yarns that we've been using. And yeah, I'm also, again, I think I've said this already, but my mom and I have really enjoyed watching some of the crocheters, and they've really helped us with our technique, and also just, you know, the crocheters are nice to have on when you're not only crocheting or looking for something, but even if you're just sort of hanging out and having a tea or a coffee, the crocheters are nice to have on. So we're so thankful to all you crocheters out there that have a channel. Can't thank you enough, because you've definitely really been nice to have on in our living rooms. So anyway, that's just a little video for today. And maybe I'll do another one and talk about some squares that I have in a box over there. All right. Bye for now.